Ian Macdonald. I'm the Group Controller and the Group Manager for the Hawke's Bay Civil Defence Emergency Management Group. I'd just like to introduce the people here with me. To my right is Hiniwai Ormsby, who is the Chair of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council and also of the Hawke's Bay Civil Defence Emergency Management Joint Committee. To my left here is Sandra Hazelhurst as the Mayor of Hastings. Beside her is Mayor Kirsten Wise from Napier. We also have New Zealand Police Eastern Police District Commander Superintendent Jeanette Park, Fire and Emergency New Zealand District Manager Glenn Varco, and also St John's Operations Manager Brendan Hutchinson. Can I just sort of start off by saying, look, the last couple of days have been extremely trying for our community and also for those of us who have had to respond and start to coordinate the response moving forward. I just want to assure everybody that we are pulling together the command and control and the situational awareness and starting to make some progress on a lot of the things that are causing problems for our communities. Inside here we have the Group Coordination Centre that is operating 24/7. We are operating off 2 shifts of 12 hours. So these are all people from the community mostly, with some central government agencies that have come in from outside who are actually already been impacted by this event and are actually responding to their community. So I just want to reiterate that fact right up front. So I'm going to lead off just with some informational type facts for you. What we'll do is we'll then ask the Chair and the Mayors to talk. We'll then ask Jeanette to talk about police matters, and then we're just going to open it up to some questions. Obviously we have to get back to work, so Rob Johnson will at some stage call time. So first of all, I just want to start with some facts and some information for people. Elective surgery cancellations. The hospital is open to critical care. However, there was an operational decision by Te Whatu Ora to ensure patient safety and staff safety to cancel elective surgery. In terms of roads, we obviously have widespread and significant damage to the region's infrastructure. Waka Kotahi is working hard to restore roads as quickly as possible. The priorities are the expressway and access to the Whirinaki township, which is north of Napier. In terms of good news, State Highway 51, Napier to Hastings through Clive is open to the public. Waka Kotahi have also confirmed that State Highway 50, which is the expressway, will open from Pakawhai north to the north towards Napier within the next 24 hours. Fernhill Bridge is still closed, and we will provide further roading updates where possible, and those in terms of state highways that can be gained from the Waka Kotahi website as well. In terms of Wairoa, obviously a real area of concern for us. Teams were up there yesterday, teams have also gone in today. We are looking at technical teams have gone up to establish communications this morning, and the National Emergency Agency are actually coordinating the delivery of supplies into Wairoa. We are working on establishing communications to Wairoa urgently. However, some good news there also, we understand from Foodstuffs that they have adequate food in Wairoa and that they are able to actually deliver food via Gisborne within the next 12 to 24 hours. In terms of essential supplies, Hawke's Bay Civil Defence Group and the New Zealand Defence Force are working together to start delivering supplies to isolated communities from today. That is obviously going to have to be prioritised and will ramp up as time progresses. We are actually in the process of establishing a warehouse system where we can have food come in, the food can be packaged, and then the food can be delivered. We're working on that as we speak, and we've identified a facility, and that's starting to happen now. We do see this as being a relief at a macro scale, not at a micro scale, so we are looking at community level delivery of food and water in particular. On donations and volunteers, please wait. More information will come out on that shortly. The wastewater treatment plant in Hastings is operating. However, Napier is still compromised. Please continue to conserve water where possible. Power. Due to the flooding of the Redcliffe substation, power is still out across much of Hawke's Bay. As of 900 hours this morning, enough power is being generated to power 90,000 homes, and this is being supplied to homes and businesses where possible. Transpower and Unison are looking at how they can bypass the Redcliffe substation, and they're making some really good progress on that. However, it is still going to be up to a week before power can be fully restored to Hawke's Bay. Please be patient as crews work hard in really difficult situations to restore power. In terms of our port, Napier Port has reported minimal damage to its infrastructure. Shipping will resume on Friday following a shipping channel and navigation aid safety assessments. Fuel. The fuel situation is improving. Generators have been given to some fuel stations. Generator, in terms of the distribution, the BP distribution point, they now have a generator as well, which means that then the fuel that is in that facility can be unlocked to be distributed to fuel stations, and that is happening as we speak. We also expect tankers to be able to arrive into Hawke's Bay via the port over the next day or so. In terms of gas, LPG gas is in good supply. Home deliveries are starting to recommence once the roads are cleared. Rail, basically the rail corridor between Palmerston North to Napier and Napier to Wairoa is down and will be out for some considerable time, particularly north of Napier. So just an update in terms of welfare centres. As of last night, we had approximately 1,900 people in welfare centres, or our civil defence centres. I just want to reiterate where they are. In Napier, it is Centennial Hall, Vigor Brown Street, Napier South. In Hastings, it is the Hastings Sports Centre, Railway Road, Hastings, and the Flaxmere Community Centre in Swansea Road, Flaxmere. In Waipawa, it is the Central Hawke's Bay Municipal Theatre in Kenilworth Street, Waipawa. In Wairoa, it is largely a community-led civil defence centres, but they are at the War Memorial Hall, the Presbyterian Hall and Wairoa College. I just want to reiterate to people, if they need to evacuate from their home, they should make their way to one of these civil defence centres. If they're unable to do that, or if their life is in danger, again, 111 is the number that people need to call. Okay, so I'd like to now hand over to the Regional Chair, Hiniwai.
Thank you, Ian. Tēnā koutou katoa. He mihi tēnei rere aroha ki te motu, ki te mataua Māui. He tino nui tēnei mea I tēnei wā nā reira kia kaha. So just an acknowledgement and respect to those who are going through these trying times, particularly with their families within their communities. We are sending our love, our regard to them at these times. But also the devastation that it's caused to many of our communities, including many of our rural marae and urupa, who are going through very unprecedented events at the moment. So I have just come from evacuating Waiōhiki marae as of last night. We had around 160 people evacuated to that point during yesterday. We had them overnight. It was the highest point that our residents could get to. To be able to evacuate them from almost totally flooded homes and making sure that their welfare, that their well-being was at the utmost. In terms of the army coming to evacuate us, but also providing supplies for those who can't yet leave parts of Waiōhiki, It's been quite an experience, but very, very humbling for the recovery, the rescue support that has been shown to us, and that's an example of what many of our smaller isolated communities are experiencing. What's also experienced from a ground level is the lack of communication, as has been mentioned by Ian. Very sparse, and many people cannot get help, but we know rescue crews are working amazingly hard in the coordination here of many of the workers. On that note, being involved and being back here is almost another world, although only less than 48 hours ago. And within this role, to declare a regional state of emergency declaration very early on Tuesday morning was the role that I played before immediately evacuating my house. So my message really to Hawke's Bay is kia kaha, be strong. We'll take it a day at a time for a very long recovery period, but we will get there together. And also to a message to the rest of Aotearoa is that all the help that you can provide for us would be absolutely appreciated. Tēnā koutou.
Kia ora koutou katoa, mōrena everyone. Just to say that we have widespread damage to our region and Hastings district specifically. We know that there are still people who are isolated in our rural communities, and we are doing everything that we can to reach them. There is a chopper up at the moment with our staff to identify the extent of the damage to our roading networks, to our bridges. But what we do know is we have 15 bridges that are closed. We have 6 bridges across the region that are devastated. So in terms of our connectivity and connection between the region is absolutely critical, and it is wonderful to have the Napier Hastings connection up and running. And it's also critical that people respect that at the moment it's for emergencies, not just for filling up with power. So while we've got power onto a number of parts of Hastings district and the wider region, we have to respect that power will be resumed to everyone in time, and please look out for each other. If you don't need to be on the roads, we have still a lot of flooding, a lot of widespread damage with trees down. We're getting to these things, but it's going to take time. So we just ask for your patience. We ask for your love and your passion to be able to help each other and care for each other. It's amazing the work that's going on in our evacuation centres. Tonight there's going to be a big sing-song down in the sports stadium. We've got a lot of our RNZ workers in there, and we'll be all there singing. So this is about our community standing up, standing together, and we will get through this. Before I finish, I wish to put my heartfelt my deepest sympathy to the families who have lost loved ones and who can't still trace loved ones. I know it's been incredibly challenging. We've heard from you in some way that you're trying to find your families, and the loss of some of our community is devastating to us, and our love and our araha goes out to you. Kia ora.
Kirsten.
Ata Marie, first and foremost, I'd actually just like to speak to our local community in Ahuriri Napier. We are doing it pretty tough at the moment. No power throughout the whole city, our 67,000 residents. Very, very limited communication channels, both internet and cell phones. So I do want to just reassure family members all around the country, if you are trying to get hold of loved ones in Napier and can't get hold of them, it is more than likely simply because the communication channels are down. So just provide you with that reassurance. And as Mayor Sandra has already said, I just want to express my sympathy and condolences to those who have lost loved ones, and I know that the Defence and Police are working really hard out on their search and rescue mission to find people that we haven't been able to make contact with. Again, for the Napier community, I know that food supplies are starting to run low. Thankfully, we have got State Highway 51 open and we know that supplies are on their way. Supermarkets have either got generators in place already, or we are getting generators for those that need them. So there will be food on the shelves. Please go in and buy what you need, but only buy for a couple of days. There needs to be enough for everybody, and you can go and get some more in a couple of days' time. And you can also head along to our Centennial Hall Evacuation Centre if you need assistance there. We're talking to Transpower about the power situation, and as has already been said, for us in Napier it is looking like a number of days before we will have power restored. So reach out to your friends and whānau if you need assistance to be able to cook food on their barbecues. You know, we all need to pull together and support each other through these coming days. We also are still asking you, please to conserve water as our wastewater plant facility is not operational. Drinking water is safe, and please make sure you're drinking water. We do want you to remain hydrated, but in terms of everything else, don't flush the toilet unless absolutely necessary. No showers please, or just very quick ones, or a sponge bath ideally. Anything you can do that to conserve water would be very much appreciated. And again, I just want to reiterate, we are working very closely at a national and regional level with all our key agencies in terms of restoring power and telecommunication services. I would also just like to acknowledge our mayoral colleagues, Mayor Alex Walker and Mayor Craig Little from Central Hawke's Bay and Wairoa. I'm sure they would have liked to be here with us today to talk to you all as well. However, they are busy supporting their local communities at the moment as well. So again, just thank you to everybody that has actually played a role so far in supporting our local communities. As has been said by my colleagues here, kia kaha, and we all just need to continue to work together and support each other as we go through these difficult times. Ngā mihi.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Jeanette Pakahau, Eastern District Police Commander. Firstly, I'd just like to pass on our condolences to the whānau, the families of the people that have been lost. We know we have lost 4 lives in tragic circumstances that are being worked through by our teams, but our heartfelt condolences are incredibly sad. This is such a big tragedy for the communities right across Eastern Districts. It's just unbelievable, the devastation, and I've been on the ground myself, and when you see it, it's just hard to comprehend. But we are working through it and working really hard. And I just want to, from reassuring the community that we have a plan, that we have staff on the ground. We've got currently got 60 USAR staff based in Napier that are working through round the clock in order to assist and help. Our priorities are to get to our far-reached communities, people that are isolated, make sure the necessities of living they can have. So it's packages for them, it's being able to, welfare packages, anything that we can do in order to help our communities and help our people. And it's hard to comprehend, to be fair, the magnitude, but what we're doing is working through it methodically, and we are very dedicated to that. For our reassurance for our people within our communities, also our frontline staff are working incredibly hard. We're bolstering our numbers. We've nationally had support from Christchurch, Tasman, Wellington, Central District. Many districts have come in. We've got 70 staff that are coming in now. We had overnight, there was 10 went into Gisborne. We managed to get them flown into Gisborne. We've got 40 staff here in Hawke's Bay. So they are on the ground, they are visible. So reassure the community that we are around and we're with you. And we just need, please, any reports of any concerns that you've got, please come forward to us and make those concerns known to us. Overnight, just here in Hawke's Bay, in Napier, there was, and I know people will be interested and worried about this, what's happening in our community around burglaries. There was commercial burglaries overnight in Napier. We've arrested 5 people. We're taking a very hard line in relation to any unlawful behaviour, any criminal behaviour. We want to make sure that it is just so unfair to steal from people that have potentially lost everything, that can't function their livelihoods. That's truly unfair, and we will take a hard line on that. Unreported, non-contactable people is probably the better way of saying for me is non-contactable people. And so people that reports that have come through where people can't make contact with their loved ones. So there's been 3,000 reports nationally. 200 of those people have now been located, I can say that. As far as being able to work through this, we've got a team working on this. There's a lot of multiple reports in there. So people that have rung several times from the outside the area that can't get in, so they've made contact with police via 10-5 line or via online. So what we ask, please, is that if you have reported this through, we are aware of it and we are working through that. However, if now that the phone lines are coming on, that people are getting better communication, if you have through your own inquiries of maybe it was an emergency meeting point you called up with, maybe you're via the phone, via social media, can you please advise police? So you can report that online, appreciating that communications are still being worked through. Online, the 10-5 number or police stations. Please go into any police station nationally. It does not have to be in Hawke's Bay, anywhere nationally, and the reports will be picked up, and then we know how many we've located. Finally, for me, our people make me incredibly proud every day. And they're out there working 24 hours a day. They have providing for support. They know their communities. They live in these communities. The challenge for some as well is they're affected also, along with the community, of not having homes to go back to. They haven't seen their homes. They can't get back in there. They put their uniform back on and they're back on the street. And they're supporting the public. And we're working together. You see the social cohesion of people working together, so united, the camaraderie that I've seen, the stories that I've heard, the tragedies, but also the stories of amazing support that's been provided. I've had messages nationally through to us, but it's incredible that, and for our people, I see their pain in their eyes. And when you're walking in the community, you see the pain in people's eyes and the heartache. But we will box on. We will work through this. We're with you, and so please, any information you have, bring it through to us. So thank you so much, and stay strong. As my partners here have said, who do an amazing job. We work together. So stay strong. Kia kaha, ngā mihi.
Thank you, Jeanette. Okay, I think we've got some time for some questions. Probably go left to right, eh? My left.
Given that there's also severe thunderstorm warnings currently in place, talking about upwards of 25 to 30 millimetres in 3 p.m. and 10 p.m, what impact are you expecting, or what kind of preparation is underway to try and support people?
Yeah, look, that is a real challenge for us. Obviously, you're talking about quite isolated thunderstorms, so not the sort of rain that we had a couple of days ago. It is also difficult because a lot of the regional council's telemetry systems has now been compromised through bridges washed away. So we will be keeping an eye on the situation. We're also in contact with the Met Service, and I think people just need to be aware that today we are expecting some weather, and it will be variable across the region. But I suppose the good news is that we've had a couple of days where the rivers have been able to lower themselves a little bit, so there is hopefully some capacity within the system.
And so is there anything that you want to be telling people, particularly in isolated communities, about what they should be doing
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, stay away from waterways. I think that's the key message for people. At least to today, while this weather system still continues. And again, if they have connectivity and if they are concerned about their safety, dial 111. And we've got the resources. We can rescue people. We have the NZDF. We've got the NHIDs, so we can get people out if we need to. Oh, yep. Sorry. Yeah.
Just a question for Jeanette, as well. We're hearing reports of, further bodies and that sort of thing. Are you expecting that death toll to rise over the coming days?
So a priority for me is to reconnect people with their loved ones, and we're doing absolutely everything we can. We're out there, we're clearing areas, and we are working through that. It's not helpful speculating at all. So for us, what we want is, as I said earlier, people that are located, please let us know via the lines, and also just please, it takes time. Yes.
But of that 3,000 reports, you said yesterday there were grave concerns for a number. How many of that number do we have grave concerns for?
So we've got the 3,000 reports that we're working through, but as I said earlier, there's multiple reports in there. But absolutely, but you're reassured from me that we are going to, it is my number one priority. I was looking to my leadership team this morning saying this is our priority. I want to know and locate people. Kia ora.
One question for Henry, if possible. You said your home was flooded. You've been up at Rise with whānau and their homes flooded. How are you feeling?
A little tired, but very thankful that all the whānau have been able to evacuate, and we're now at Waipatu Marae. So we're all safe and well, so that's definitely the silver lining in all of this. When it comes to recovery in terms of our houses, we are planning when we can safely get back to the village. To be able to clean up, clear out, help with any roading clearance, boots on the ground. So really, I think it's about what are our next steps, what are our actions forward, because that's what's going to keep us busy, and I think keep our well-being and spirits up. So that's the mood at the moment. Yeah, kia ora.
Sure. Can we come back? Oh. Anybody, any questions? Yeah.
I'd like to know why wasn't an emergency warning issued through mobile phone systems ahead of the cyclone?
Well, my understanding was, and look, and I wasn't actually in Hawke's Bay when this occurred, so I only just came in yesterday morning. My understanding was that emergency mobile alerts were issued for evacuations. The trouble is the cell phone towers, some of the cell phone towers were compromised, and we had an issue where one cell phone alert was sent a day later because it was backed up in the system, and when the cell phone tower came back online it was sent out, so we had to cancel that one. So yes. Well, there are. So Hawke's Bay has got quite an extensive telemetry system, and that is a public system which people could see on the Hawke's Bay Regional Council website. Unfortunately, at the moment, due to the flooding that we've had, that some of that system is compromised. So we have a compromised system at the moment.
We understand that it was going to be accessed via the 0800 number, and there was also talk about it being available by people going to the evacuation centres and taking on call the line. Can you perhaps tell me whether that has been set up, and will it be all evacuation services that going to be available for you?
Well, within the evacuation centres themselves, or the civil defence centres, people can get their needs assessed. The trouble is, of course, at the moment, if we establish an 0800 number, there's very limited connectivity. We are actually planning on that though, and it's at the appropriate time we will be releasing that number. But at the moment, we're just focusing, as I said, on the macro issues here, not trying to delve into the individuals at this stage. That will come, definitely, but we are really concerned about our isolated communities in particular, and so getting the routes cleared where we can do that, identifying where they are and what the issues are, and getting basic food and water and medical supplies, if required, to them is really our priority today.
Can I just ask Sir John and before I move to it's okay, just if you could describe what your teams have been through the last couple of days and what sort of things they've been going through? Help out.
Yeah, so right from when it started, our crews obviously were working in extreme conditions, so their own health and safety were at risk, but of prime importance with them is to try and save the lives of the community that were requesting help. We're in the difficult situation of the conditions that we had a lot of calls and a lot of people that we couldn't access, which put that extra strain on our staff. We've called in extra support, so as Jeanette has mentioned, we've called in our urban search and rescue team, working with police search and rescue teams. We've got more teams coming in tonight, and our priority now is just to get through all those affected areas and clear them, so we're assured that all the families can be accounted for. But while we're doing that, as Jeanette said, all our people are affected by this themselves, so we've had to ensure their families have been well looked after, so they can concentrate on helping their communities. And with all those people that are impacted, I'd just like from the fire service, fire and emergency, is to our thoughts and condolences are out with all the community. We're still working through there, and we will get through everyone. It's just going to take a bit of time.
Good morning. Look, we were on the ground pretty much as soon as this started to kick off on Monday night, Tuesday morning. My crews went above and beyond. We had a full complement of ambulances. We struggled to get into some areas and worked very closely with our colleagues at both New Zealand Police and FENZ, and we were able to get to everyone that we needed to, apart from some people that had to wait till morning. I'm pleased to be able to say that even though we have been affected like everyone else, I've got staff who don't have houses anymore. They're still turning up at 7 o'clock in the morning, putting on their uniform and getting in an ambulance. We're fully resourced, and we will be fully resourced moving forward. Some areas are hard to get to, and we just need people to, if they need an ambulance, please ring 111. We will get to you. It might be by various means, but we'll work alongside, as I said, Defence Force, FENZ and Police and USAR, and we will get to you as soon as we can. So we've got national support from all around the country. I think we've got 7 people on the ground at the moment with relief crews coming in, because obviously our guys need to go home and look at their own properties at some point and try and rebuild what they need to. So we're going to have relief ambulance crews coming in. So Gisborne, the Tairāwhiti area and Hawke's Bay are the hardest hit on the east coast, and so we're working closely amongst both of those areas. Likewise, with what Glenn said and Jeanette, my thoughts go out to everyone who's lost loved ones. And we're doing our best, as I said, to work with everyone to get a good resolution out of this. Thanks.
Yep.
Two more questions, if that was okay. One of them directed to you. In terms of the timeframes for when you're hoping to be able to have more connections with those isolated communities, what kind of timeframes are you working towards? Should people be preparing for weeks or days, just to give a bit of an idea of what they need to do?
Yeah. Look, we're going to have to prioritise, and some of them it will be days, for some it might be a week. Rural communities are usually quite resilient, I'll put a caveat on that, but this is a huge region and there's a lot of communities, talking about hundreds of communities potentially. And so it's going to take us time to get to them. We're prioritising them in terms of what we know, in terms of damage, in terms of numbers of people and all the rest of it. NZDF is working on some of the route clearances at the moment, or the route reconnaissance, and also we're using air as well to get to those communities and make some assessments. And as I said, we're also looking at how do we deliver bulk relief to people in those communities.
I understand that you've been travelling from Napier today, and I wanted to see if you were able to describe what that road was like on
Yes, we travelled across to come for this press stand-up, and I have to say that going across State Highway 51 and the bridges there, it really brought it home for me personally, the devastation that's actually been wreaked upon our region. It's quite surreal because where I'm based in the Napier CBD in our emergency ops centre, you would actually think that nothing had happened. Aside from some fallen tree branches, it actually just looks like any normal day in Napier City. So I have to say, seeing the washed out rail bridge and all of the debris that has collected and jammed up across those bridges, and the flooding that's still across some of the roads between here and Hastings, it really did bring it home. You see the photos, which I've been seeing over the last few days, but seeing it actually with your own eyes makes it so much more real. And I would also just like to take the opportunity to say, if you don't need to be travelling between Napier and Hastings, please don't, because it's essential that we keep that one road we have got available for essential services. I appreciate people in Napier are getting a bit fed up. They want to come across and access power or have a hot shower, but we need to focus on what the priorities are at the moment. So, thank you.
One more question, we're going to wrap this up.
Yes, I can speak to Reo.
Can I ask a question for our Te Karere whānau back in Auckland? A non-speaker, sorry, but can I ask you for your thoughts in Te Reo about what you've been seeing and your message from Māori?
Oh, there's probably some kupu or some phrases that might not quite meet. So I'll happy, or po te karere. Okay, ka pai. Just he mihi aroha kia koutou katoa. E rei wehe atu ki te pō. So obviously those who have passed, it's that acknowledgement to them and their whānau in these saddened times, ngā wā pauri. But also that, the resilience of our Māori villages and communities to work together and provide for each other has been immense in these times. When we come together ko tahitanga, when we do unite together, it is very much the sharing of place, of resources, which is what I experienced over the 2 days. And I suspect many of our Māori villages are doing the same. But I do know that resources are running out, and I know evacuations are definitely needed. And there are big whānau groups who are trying to stay safe in isolated areas, and they're like their own islands, their own motu. Just for te karere, I mean, you've heard us all, be able to explain what's happening, what we know, what we don't know, what are the next steps over the next few days. So it definitely is this time of being able to appreciate what we do have, what we can do, and move forward with strength and unity. So ko tahitanga, ai, kia ora, thank you.
Okay, I think that's it. Thank you very much. Thanks.